Hello and welcome to our energy forecast for June 2026. This first chunk here will also serve as our mystic message for the week. June is exciting. So just as a reminder, we have been in this spring portal now for over 2 months. And if you can recall, when we were coming into this time, when we were, the spring equinox was upon us, I had been saying we are entering this portal. It is a portal of transformation. We're going to enter it one version of ourselves and we're going to exit it another version of ourselves. It's not an overnight thing. Sometimes these types of things also take like a reflection moment. So you might be midsummer reflecting back at who you were at the end of March, who you were at the end of June, and kind of like what that looked like for you. So we're moving into the month where we're exiting this spring portal. And it's really exciting. We're coming into this very expansive space. So if you've been in this and you've been super aware, I mean, a lot of things have felt really cloudy and unclear. Even if we know that we're in alignment, right? It's just felt, even in the winter, it's been like, well, what the little itch, like something's off or something is going to change or I need to change, but like, what is it and what does it look like? I think a lot of us have been beginning to have some clarity show up over this springtime. But even with the clarity, there's still a little bit of confusion and like tunnel vision almost. And the visual with this kind of exiting the portal feels like that. It's like we're in this tunnel, this portal tunnel. Like this was, spring equinox, and then this is summer solstice. And we're in this like little tunnel, this portal outside of space and time. And what's happening in this like tunnel in between space that feels like a weird kind of purgatory energy of like, I'm not who I was, but I'm not who I'm going to be. I know I don't want to do that, but I don't know what I'm going to do. Or I kind of have some inklings, but I don't really know how to put it all together. And, in this, it can feel, because so much is moving and because we're shifting and evolving so much, it can be hard to even like have that expansive viewpoint. So it's like we're in this tunnel where we can only see in front of us. We can only see kind of out. And so we're just plugging along, right? We're just in plug along mode. We're not necessarily in figure it out mode, or we're starting to put the pieces together, but we don't have the big picture. And most of the time we don't have the big picture, right? But when we exit this portal, so I'm talking about summer solstice. I'm talking about the end of the month that we're, when this shift takes place, and give or take a few days or a week, right? Like kind of how it shows up for you is going to be different, right? It doesn't have to be right on that day. Although I will say I do notice personally in my life a lot of big shifts on these big dates. And I don't get dates very often as like milestones. But this I am. So we come out of this portal and it's like, I have chills. Everything feels really big and expansive. It's like we come out and the world is still the world, but almost with like, we're looking through a different lens. We're seeing more of the beauty instead of more of the negativity. There's a bit of almost like a calm. It's like we come out into this, I don't want to say utopia because we're not quite there yet, but there is this aspect of like really focus on your world, right? Your world, and I mean your day to day, right? It doesn't mean disregard the big picture stuff. It doesn't mean disregard what's happening in the world or kind of head in the sand about it. But focus mostly on your world as much as you can. This is a big manifestation kind of moment. And so before I keep going with this, I want to share another theme that came up before we move into the content that will not be for the mystic message, but I'm going to come back to this portal energy. So energetically, June, and this connects to this portal energy, but it might be showing up before the portal or the portal closes out, right? Vibrance. The theme of June is very vibrant, vibrancy, very solar energy, and not just solar with the sun, but solar plexus. You have overhauled so much of who you are, we've removed the masks that we've put on that have kept us safe or protected us, or we were told we had to, I am this because I was told this as a child, and so this is who I've become, right? Society told me that I need to go to college, get a good 9 to 5 with a 401k, and then I create a family, I get a house, I get the white picket fence, right? These ideas of who we are and how we choose to show up in the world has been revamped, right? You went through a big ego death. Maybe you're still in one right now. Last year for me was just ego death after ego death after ego death. And what I mean by that is the things that I thought I was, the things I thought I was good at, the things that I thought I was going to do in this world, the trajectory of my life and the way I thought it was going, everything just fell apart and collapsed, one thing after another. And it's those moments of like, well, who am I? Who am I if I'm not a healer? Who am I if I'm not a channeler? Who am I if, I let go of this business, or do something completely new, or do nothing at all, or, things like that. So we had a lot of ego deaths leading up to this. And this portal that we've been in has been reworking who we are. It has been reworking our sense of self. And a lot of what it's reworking, funny enough, it's just continuing the undoing process. So we're coming to a space where we're feeling more like ourselves in a way that almost feels new but old at the same time. It's these parts of us that maybe we've lost. Maybe they're parts of us from childhood or our teenage years or our early 20s or some era of life where maybe the era wasn't that good, but there was something about you. Maybe you were lighthearted. Maybe you were super creative and you liked to do art or paint or sing. Maybe you laughed a lot and you've been realizing, oh man, I'm just super serious now that I'm older or whatever, right? Maybe you went back to old hobbies, or you've been spending more time out in nature, right? There's an old to what is coming back, but it's coming through lightness, softness, and authenticity. So it might be taking something that was from an era of life where maybe the phase of life wasn't that great, or we didn't know who we were. It came with a lot of insecurities or lack of confidence or whatever, right? Those good things, it's like we went through this portal and it washed off all of the things that we are not, and it washed off and soothed, the dark, the lower frequency energies. It has soothed and allowed us to integrate our shadow a bit more and to become more aware of our ego so that we are more kind of a whole within ourselves. So it is a big solar plexus energy month in the way of who we are, your sense of self, your confidence, your self-worth. And you've done a lot of work to get here. And so a lot of us are in this, there is a firmness, there is a solidness in our energy. And I speak about this a lot. If you've ever had a one-on-one session with me, we've probably talked about this, of this idea of I am so solid in who I know I am that no one can say anything or do anything that will make me waver. For example, I know I am here to spread and share love with the world. And this person can come over and say, well, you're a jerk, or you're mean, and you're everything but love. Or this person can come and say, oh, good luck in this world. Yeah, good luck. There's a whole lot of love, right? All these opinions, all of these judgments, all of these things that can fuel those thoughts in our own head that make us waver, that make us question. Maybe I can't do that. Maybe I'm not that. Maybe I'm not good at that. Right? We're moving away from that to these people coming at us and unfazed. No, I know who I am. There's no hatred or animosity or negativity towards the judgments or the naysayers or the opinions. They simply just roll off. They don't touch us, right? And this is part of energetic boundaries as well. Letting those energies in affects us. And the way that they get in is we allow them in. And when our solar plexus, especially with this theme, is so solid, when you know who you are, people can say and think and have, even send I hope she fails, right? That kind of thing. That's intention-based energy. That stuff can really only get in if you have an opening, if there's a little bit of part of you that believes it, that subscribes to it. But this is where we're landing in this place where we're so solid in who we are that it washes off, it brushes off. And so you might notice a settled, like a settling within your nervous system, because you're not fighting the external energies as much. You have more confidence in who you are, so you're not questioning every little thing, right? Which sometimes is super subconscious and we don't even realize it, right? And then we also, like, it allows for clearer vision when we're not accepting all these external energies. It is also, this is where our sovereignty really shows up, because this is part of our sovereignty is I know who the F I am and I'm going to show up and that's all fine, right? And I don't need a label. I don't need a title. I don't need pats on the back. I don't need a validation. That's a big one. Not needing validation is a big part of it, right? There's the judgment that sometimes sways us. And then there's like, well, if I didn't get validation, am I good enough? That's gonna start to wash away too. And these themes, if you're like, oh man, I am some of these things. These are the things that you are gonna see get bigger and bigger and bigger this month, because it's asking you to release it, to purge it out. I no longer subscribe to my worth being based on the opinions of others. Things like that, right? That is a very beautiful statement to say. So we're beginning to feel more like ourselves in an old but new way, in a very authentic way, in a way that feels light, a way that feels clear. And like all of this illusionary crap is washing away. Like maybe you were on a trajectory and it was guided by something other than your authentic self. Maybe it was guided by shadow. Maybe it was guided by your ego. And we're washing that away. We're finding that truth, that solidness in our solar plexus, and that authenticity, embodying the authenticity. And there is big themes around authenticity that we are going to go into at the end of this with the throat chakra. But you're going to notice feeling more settled in who you are. It's a soft energy. It's not in your face. It's the same kind of energy of like when a confident woman walks into a room and she doesn't say anything. She just has a poise. She just has an energy to her. She's vibrant. She glows, and everyone notices her. And she's not walking a certain way. She's not saying a certain thing. She just is. And there's something to that. It's magnetic. We're coming into that magnetism. But with that, there's a simplicity to it. It's not always doing more, and it's not always saying more. A lot of times it's doing less and saying less. And just being. Being is a huge key here. And so with this kind of clarity that is showing up, with us exiting this tunnel, this portal, and finding ourselves, coming into this expansive, manifestation heavy energy, our capacity is going to be bigger. So now we got to think, what do we want to do with our capacity? We don't want to go back to old patterns of like do more, work more, think more, blah, 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 blah. It's what fills your cup. What are the simple things that truly matter? Prioritizing time in nature, right? Your own personal self-care, whatever that looks like for you. And again, self-care is not bubble baths necessarily. It can be, but it's sometimes holding yourself accountable to do the things that you know is going to make you feel good, like go to your yoga class or go for a hike or start that art project, right? So your capacity is going to open up, but again, warning, 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 do not fall back into old patterns. And so we combine this with the idea, with the first thing that I had shared of we're exiting this portal. Everything is expansive and bigger. Focus on your world. Again, not playing ignorant to the reality happening, but what you create in your world ripples out. We always want to fix the world, heal the world, help everybody, but we have to start within ourselves internally, right? Which is what you've been doing. And then we have to show up. in our real life, in our day-to-day, embody it, right? And then that continue and be confident there. And then that ripples. And that is how we actually truly, heal the world and heal people. And so because we're feeling really solid in our energy through all of this solar plexus work and identity stuff, you're going to come out of this feeling really capable of manifesting. But again, energetic hygiene is going to be really, really important here to maintain where you're at. So if you do not understand energetic hygiene, you don't know what that is, reach out to me. Go on over to fringespirit.com. There's lots of stuff and content over there. But you're going to really want to ground really well. And so what's coming through as we kind of exit this portal is ground and anchor into yourself first, and then into the earth. So we kind of, we think of grounding and we think of our root chakra, and that's our energy body. And it's great to anchor that and ground that into the earth. We also want to really, really think about our physical body. And so many of us have been super out of body our entire lives. It is not your fault, promise. It's very common, but we're moving into a time where we are our body being in our bodies, our energy body being in our body, which is also shifting and evolving, our astral body being in our body and staying there. That is going to be a huge theme for summer as a whole, is embodiment, is having everything in your body. And if you've listened to the stuff that I've done or go into my soul streams, a big thing that I feel really passionate about is our body, our physical vessel that, some people, that's just our meat suit. That's just our vehicle. Just this, just that. Like, we're downplaying it. We're making it less than. We're putting judgment on it. We're placing value on it. And when we place low value on this physical vessel, what do we think happens? It starts to hurt. It starts to feel unwell. We don't want to be in it because then it starts to feel like crap, and then we're out of it, and then we start to get autoimmune disorders or chronic inflammation or any other kind of chronic issues. And it just ripples and it just snowballs from there. And so we have to value this. This is a beautiful gift that we have, to be physical. We're always energy, right? Energy is energy. We are light, we are energy. But right now, in this moment, you get to be physical. You get to touch the earth. You get to touch each other. You get to eat food. You get to feel the air, brush on your skin. You get to feel the warmth of the sun. We get to float in the ocean, right? This is not just this measly vehicle or meat suit. It is our home right now in this moment. Is it going to be your home in 100 years? Probably not, but it is now. And what does 100 years from now really matter? Because all that really ever matters is right now. And so the idea of being home in our body and finding home in our body is going to be a big theme that's going to come up in June or summer, starting in June. And so when you do your grounding and kind of anchoring exercises, start with calling yourself into your body. Like, really feel yourself in your body. Feel your toes, feel your fingertips, feel your head, feel your shoulders, feel all of it. And then ground yourself into the earth. That is what we want to do, especially as we kind of exit this portal. And that is going to continue to keep that wholeness and those energetic boundaries within us to keep all the external energies out. And it's going to help us to manifest. So manifestation is really, really big, but we have to be solid in our energy. So this is your moment to really notice, to take inventory on whose thoughts are affecting you. What are you needing from other people when it comes to how you feel about yourself, how you view yourself, your opinions of yourself, right? What you think your strengths are, what you think your weaknesses are. Are those based on other people, or is it based on your own self? And if it's based on your own self, is it based in truth, or is it based in shadow or in ego? So it's a big moment of inventory on self. But we're also being supported because all of it is washing away. And so, when so much gets washed away, we feel naked, we feel vulnerable, we feel a little confused. And, imagine you're just showed up naked. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to try and find something to put on quick without thinking. That's what we don't want to do. You don't want to grab the first thing, the first identifier, the first thing that crosses your path just to have something, because you feel so vulnerable, not having an identity, not having something to call yourself or a plan, right? Really sit with, is this authentic? Is this true? Is it coming from inside or is it coming from external? Am I doing this because my ego wants validation? Am I doing this because my shadow needs to feel worthy? Take inventory on all of your solar plexus themes, and you will exit this portal unstoppable, and you're going to move into a summer that is going to change your life. All right. So if you're watching the Mystic Message, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you later this month. I'm actually going to do my monthly event the day after the solstice. It's going to be on a Monday evening. I think, let's see, let me look at a calendar. June 22nd, I'm going to do our summer solstice event that is going to tie in a lot of these themes and everything else that comes up over the course of the month. Wholeness, guys, wholeness. That is a huge part of what we're moving into. So join me on Monday, June 22nd for this event. They're so fun. They're so great. And you get to connect with other people. So I'm going to leave it there. Mwah. I love you.